Well, good Friday morning, everyone. What a wonderful day it will be today again to learn something new. I know that today is going to be a little rainy, a little cloudy, but I know it's going to clear up this weekend. So have fun this weekend and enjoy yourselves. But first, let's get some work done. As always, I am open to meet with anybody and everybody today. I know I have a few meetings scheduled today. I'm looking to fill some more. So if you would like to meet with me, just send me a quick email and we can set a time up. I enjoy meeting with everybody. I usually meet with about half the class each Friday. So I'm looking forward to the weekend, I guess I should be saying. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Like we normally do, we start with our reading. But before we start with our reading today, I wanted to start off with a video. I know I started using these a little earlier in the year, and I haven't had a chance to come back to them. But I really thought these would be really good ones, especially right before spring break starts. And I really want to start with one that says, "Don't give up." Um, Let me go ahead. Oh wait, sorry. I'm sorry, I got the wrong date on that one. I remember I got the wrong date on that. But I'm going to switch to this one, to why being nice to yourself matters. Let me pause it here. Sorry, buddy. And just switch out of this and into that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mr. Conley, and here's your mindset moment of the week. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. The story of the little engine that could is a great example of positive self-talk and grit, or the perseverance to achieve a goal. Now, the research behind grit tells us that it's not about how talented you are. It's about how hard you're willing to work and about how much you believe in yourself to get the job done. But remember, throughout the process, be positive. The little engine that could kept telling himself, I think I can. So, here's my challenge for you this week. What's your positive self-talk phrase that's going to help you persevere this week? Think about it. I'll see you later.
So obviously I enjoy those videos. They're very quick and short and to the point, but think about it. What is your self-positive talk? What phrase are you going to use this week? He mentioned one, I think I can, I think I can. I really like that one. The one I find myself saying to myself, I know when I cycle, when I ride my bike, and I know it's a really hard hill, or I'm facing a really tough headwind coming in my face, and slowing me down. I look down, and my garment isn't saying I'm going as fast as I want to go. My power isn't as where I want it to be. I know I say it in my head. I think the word push, push, push. I really want to push it during those times, those tough times, and stay positive when I'm talking to myself. I don't want to get negative on myself because it begins to drag me down. So I'll stay positive and push, push, push. So think about what are some good positive words that you're going to say to yourself when times get tough, because times do get tough, and you got to be able to use your inner monologue to help you out and push through that time, like Mr. Conley has mentioned there. So that was a cool video to get us kind of started and kick-started for the weekend, especially for spring break and coming back and seeing everybody on Monday morning after spring break at Willis. That'll be really fun to actually get to see you guys finally in person. Unfortunately, we have to give you a test, but hey, at least we get to see each other. I think that'll be really cool once we do all get to see each other on that Monday morning, the first day back from spring break. We will be seeing each other to take the Ohio State test. Well, without further ado, I think we need to now go to our reading for today. Our reading for today is, where is it hiding? Where did it go? Not runaway. There it is. The Wonder Wheels. Wonder Wheels. So, Wonder Wheels. I know we have some skateboarders here. I know for sure that Danny likes to do longboarding. I know these aren't technically longboards, but hey, they got four wheels on them, right? They're kind of a skateboard. I'm wondering if anybody else skateboards as well. I think I mentioned Rose says she kind of rollerblades and maybe she shares a skateboard. I think I remember that story. This is a famous skater when I was your age, maybe a little bit older, I guess. His name is Tony Hawk, and he kind of brought skateboarding to kind of like the mass media market and brought it to make it where it is today and have the X Games and so on and so forth. So anyway, Frank Nasworth's Wonder Wheels. Flying through the streets. So have you ever seen skateboarders jump down a set of stairs on their boards? They can race down sidewalks, soar over benches. They can do even more amazing tricks when they fly through the air in skateboard parks. How do they do it? I think Delaware at Mingo, they have a skate park there. So I wonder if anybody's ever been there to that skate park. Today, skateboarding is more popular than ever. It almost died about 40 years ago if it were not for a skateboarder named Frank Nasworthy. A skateboard might be something you only see in a museum, but Frank Nasworthy had an idea. It was a little idea, but it changed skateboarding forever. Sidewalk surfing. To understand why Frank's little idea was such a big deal, it helped understand the days of skateboarding. No one's sure when or where the first skateboard was invented, but it was probably back in the 1940s. At some point, some clever kid nailed metal roller skate wheels to a wooden box or a board and took a ride. The ride probably wasn't very smooth, but it was exciting. There weren't very many skateboarders at first because kids had to make their own boards. Some of those homemade boards were pretty clunky, but the idea caught on, and by 1960, companies had begun to make and sell skateboards. I remember my skateboard as a kid. I still have a scar. You probably can't even see it, but I still have a scar in my hand. I went down our big hill that I lived on, and my hand drug on the ground because I was going too fast. I got scared. I still have a scar in my hand. Still see that guy there, too. I had a nasty scab on it for weeks. And, of course, being the precocious boy that I was, the troublesome boy, I always would pick at my scabs, which you really shouldn't do. And now I have the scar because I kept picking at it. So keep that in mind. But anyway, surfers were among the first people to give skateboards a try. Makes sense. They liked skateboarding because it gave them something to do when the waves weren't big enough to ride. Soon, thousands of kids were riding skateboards all over cities and towns, and sidewalk surfing was born. The new skateboards were a big improvement on the homemade boards. They were shaped like surfboards surfers used to ride the waves. Skateboards became a big fad in the 1960s. Kids everywhere were buying up the first skateboards and trying to learn how to stay on them. Skateboarding champions appeared on television and on the covers of popular magazines. Skateboarding wasn't just for boys. Patty McGee was 19 when she won the first women's national skateboarding championship in 1965. This magazine cover shows her doing a handstand on a board. Okay, that's impressive. I can't even do a handstand on the ground, let alone on a skateboard. It's all about the wheels. After a few years, skateboarding stopped being cool. The fad had passed. For one thing, hard wheels on skateboard made skating dangerous. Hitting a tiny pebble could mean a nasty fall and a trip to the hospital. Yep, you're right. That was where I was. The wheels also made it difficult to turn the board, so skateboarders couldn't do many tricks. Most skateboarders lost interest in the sport. They threw their boards in the closets and garages and forgot about them. That is where Frank Nasworthy, a young man who enjoyed skateboarding, came in. In 1970, Frank Nasworthy had an idea on how to improve skateboards. There's a picture of him. Frank had a friend whose father owned a plastics factory. That's where Frank saw a pile of small plastic wheels sitting in the bin. The wheels had been designed for roller skates, but roller skaters didn't like them. Frank studied the wheels carefully, and then he had an idea. Ding! What if he tried bolting the plastic wheels onto a skateboard? Frank gave it a try, and the new wheels were great. His skateboards rolled smoothly over pebbles and sailed over cracks in the pavement. The plastic wheels were softer and made it much easier to turn the board in different directions. Plastic wheels made it possible to run a skateboard through an obstacle course. This photo was taken in the 1970s before skaters used safety gears. I was going to say, dude doesn't have a helmet on, he doesn't have knee pads on, doesn't have elbow pads and some wrist guards. Those are all pretty good ideas, especially helmets. I do recommend wearing a helmet for sure. You only get one brain, so let's not mess it up. Little ideas, big changes. Frank loaded his car up with plastic wheels and headed to the beaches of California. California beach towns were filled with surfers, and among those surfer dudes, there were quite a few skateboarders. At first, Frank sold wheels right out of the trunk of his car. He gave some away, and then so that skateboarders would replace their old wheels with plastic wheels. The skateboarders loved them. Before long, Frank had an agreement with a company to make skateboards with his new plastic wheels. That's when Frank Nasworthy's idea suddenly became a big idea. Thanks to Frank's plastic Wonder wheels, skateboarding began to boom again. So in 1975, Frank Nasworth sold 300,000 sets of his plastic skateboard wheels. That's cool. It looks like his brand is Cadillac wheels. That kind of matches his shirt he was wearing. Pool party! Skaters could do amazing tricks on their new improved boards, but streets and sidewalks weren't the only places for spinning and jumping. On a piece of wood, some kids had a crazy idea. They started skating in empty swimming pools. Skaters learned to roll down the hill from the shallow end of the pool to the deep end. If they moved fast enough, they could ride up the walls of the pool, and then all the way up to the rim. Skateboarders rode the curved bottom, steep walls of the pools the way surfers rode the waves. Before long, they started skating up and down the sides of the pools, inventing new tricks. The tricks were hard to do, and they took a lot of practice, but they were awesome. If you kind of think of the skate park at Mingo, they kind of have a bowl in it a little bit. They have some rolling hills, but they have a little bowl, and that represents the origin of some of the cool skate stuff, which was happening at a pool, an empty out pool. The grip the plastic wheels helped the skateboarders ride along the empty swimming pools. Fun facts. When skateboarders invented new tricks, they gave them names. Just imagine what moves like disaster or rock and roll might look like. They do have cool names for the skate tricks. Skate parks and super tricks. Finding empty swimming pools wasn't easy, and skating inside them wasn't very good for the pools. And skaters needed places to skate where they wouldn't crash into other people or cars. That's one reason why the first skate parks were built. Skate parks are places with all kinds of surfaces to skate on. Skateboarders were happy to try out the new tricks at the new parks. Skate parks sprang up all over the world. Some of these parks held huge competitions. Kids as young as 10 or 11, your age, signed up to compete. Thousands of fans watched the young skateboarders jump, twirl, soar, and flip, all thanks to Frank's Wonder wheels and the latest skateboard improvements. Skate park surfaces. What could skateboarders do at the first skate park? They could roll on smooth flat ground. They could also carve or glide along a sloping side, curve back down the bottom, and they could drop onto the deep bowls built like big swimming pools. The trick that changed skateboard. One of the most important skateboarding tricks is the ollie, invented by skater Alan "Ollie" Gelfand. When skateboarders jump in the air, they're doing some form of an ollie. An ollie lets the skater hop over obstacles. If you can do an ollie while standing still or cruising down the street. So how to do an ollie? Well, here's a picture of it. You can see you start here, and you go up, and you go over, and you come back down. So you place your back foot so the ball of your foot is on the tail of your skateboard. Place your front foot on the front of the middle of the skateboard. Slam your back foot down on the tail as hard as you can. At the same time, jump into the air. Slide your front foot forward. Pull your knees up as far as you can. Bring the skateboard level and land with your knees still bent. That takes a special skill. There's no way that I could do that. But that looks like a special skill for sure. Keeping yourself out of the emergency room. Yeah, this is probably a good one to listen to. Skateboarders have lots of actions when they try out new tricks. The early skaters ripped up their knees and hands, and some kids even knocked out their teeth. Skaters had to find a safer way to ride. They didn't want to spend all their time at doctors or dentists. Some kids borrowed motorcycle helmets to protect their heads. Other kids discovered that gardening gloves could protect their hands, but these were not the best safety solutions. As skateboarding became more popular, companies began to sell helmets, pads, and shoes made just for skateboarding. Today, smart skaters always wear the latest safety gear, just like the pros. So you can see this dude's got a harder helmet. This is what we call in cycling a city helmet. It's got more of a harder shell on the outside than a typical bike helmet. Because technically, bike helmets, you get in one wreck or one crash, you need to get rid of the new helmet to bring in a new helmet. Skating helmets or city bike helmets, in this case, have a harder shell. Protects them. He has a protective suit on. This one's made of kind of leather. It has built-in shoulder pads. It has built-in knee pads. Then he has special kind of leather gloves. But this guy's in a skating race. You can see here. Oh, he's got special shoes on too that not mentioned. X Games and Superstars. I remember when X Games came out, man. I was so hyped when I was a kid. You can always see the hottest skateboarders performing the coolest tricks at the competitions like the X Games. At the X Games, people from all over the world compete in extreme or dangerous sports that include skateboarding. Many of the best skaters at the X Games have gone on to become skating superstars, or they even go on into the Olympics. Whether you're a skating superstar or not, or just a neighbor kid doing your first ollie, remember Frank Nasworthy. Without Frank and his Wonder Wheels, you wouldn't be able to have this much fun. Superstar Tony Hawk, and I don't know if you guys know who he is, but I can say he's definitely a superstar. He has video games, he has clothing lines, he has skateboards, he has he's endorsed by so many companies. He's actually a pretty tall dude. Now he's a dad, and I just saw a recent documentary about him. He has a very interesting life, so he's definitely a pretty cool dude. Superstar and Tony Hawk. Skateboarding superstar Tony Hawk started skateboarding when he was only 9. But by the time he was 16, he was one of the best skaters in the world. Tony is famous for his popular video games, but he also spends time and money helping people. He has built hundreds of free skate parks for kids who live in poor neighborhoods. So this is in 2001. I think I just started high school, and he was in a skating competition. So you can see I was like a young, impressionable person seeing someone do something cool like that. I could never do that. No way. That scares me to even look at that. Skateboard secrets. Originally, skateboard wheels were made of steel or clay as a mixture of paper and plastic and ground walnut shells. These wheels had the ability to deal with bumps and obstacles found in most sidewalks. The wheels transformed skateboarding were made of urethane, a versatile plastic that gave them almost rubber-like flexibility when rolling over rough surfaces. Even with the advent of skate parks and their specialized terrains, designed for smoother skating, urethane gave wheels better grip and superior mobility as skateboarders developed and honed their skating skills. There's a reason why they're called Wonder Wheels. A special acknowledgement goes to Craig Snyder, skateboard historian, author, and photojournalist, for his help in researching this book. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. There's Tony. Hey, Tony. Bye, Tony. All right, what do we got next? My beard is starting to itch. It's about time to get rid of this beard. It's getting too warm to have a beard. Today, you guys need to do 20 minutes of Lexia, please. That's our first thing. You guys need to get 20 minutes of Lexia. Give me that full 20 minutes of Lexia. Then Scoop Pad, ELA. You need 5-0. No surprise there. 50 points of ELA. If you get 100 points in ELA this week, I won't make you do it the following week. So there's your incentive there. I know some people are doing really well with that in math, but it also holds true in language arts. I'm going to actually skip right to mini mystery science because I really do enjoy the mini mystery science. So how do we get there? We open up Canvas, and we need to go into our home page. And there's our home page, Online Academy 2021. And then we go into discussions. And then we find mini mystery science number 23, I think it was. 23, there it is. So here's mini mystery science number 23. And then we hit open. And here is your video. So the question first goes, could people ever walk on walls? Question 1. Number 2, do you think it's possible for people to literally walk on walls? And number 3, what was the most amazing fact about Doug's mystery box? I'm going to change it up this week. Let's watch this first part.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Sophie.
I have a question. Can people ever walk on walls?
That's a great question. I'm sure you've seen bugs walk on walls.
That's cool.
And if you're like me, you don't really think much about it.
Bug?
It's like it's no big deal. But stop for a second and think about just how amazing that is. When a bug is doing this, it's actually walking up and down walls and hanging upside down on the ceiling, just like a superhero, just like Spider-Man. And they're doing this without using ropes or superpowers or special effects. I mean, have you tried walking up a wall lately? If you have, you probably weren't very successful. And yet, many different kinds of bugs do this all the time. Like, check out these. They're called Asian weaver ants. Not only can they climb up walls, they can do it while carrying more than 100 times their body weight. That would be like you climbing up the side of a building while 100 of your friends hang on for the ride. And it's not only bugs that can walk on walls and hang upside down on ceilings. Have a look at this tree frog. It can climb up trees or walls, even in the pouring rain, without sliding. In fact, they even stick better in the rain. So, if bugs and other animals like tree frogs can do it, couldn't we? Before I say anything more, I'm curious. What do you think? Do you think people could ever walk on walls? And how would they do it?
So go ahead and go into your discussion post and answer that question. Do you think people could ever walk on walls, and how they do it? So go to discussion post now, pause the video, and go ahead and write that answer down to the question. I'm going to start the video up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, in order to answer this question, it might help to learn more about how animals stick to walls. When I was thinking about that, I immediately thought they must use something sticky, like glue. Like, do bugs that can walk up walls have glue on their feet? Well, sort of. Check out this fly. Look closely at its feet. You notice something? A fly's foot is covered in tiny hairs.
Wow.
Scientists have found out that those hairs make a liquid that helps their feet stick to tiny bumps on a wall or ceiling. It's not the same ingredients as in glue, but the liquid does help them stick to the wall. Kind of like the way water will make a cup stick to a coaster or a piece of paper when you lift it up. And flies aren't the only living things that use this method. Other creatures like ants, grasshoppers, bees, and even tree frogs use liquid to stick to walls too. So that makes you think, could humans do the same thing? Like, could we put some kind of glue or liquid on our shoes to help us walk up walls? Well, there actually are types of glue that are strong enough to allow us to stick to a wall or hang upside down. But people soon discovered the hardest challenge isn't sticking to a wall, it's unsticking. You see, the thing about insects, like flies and ants, is that the liquid on their feet is sticky enough to keep them on the wall, but not sticky enough to get them stuck. That's because they don't need that much sticking power because they're so small and don't weigh that much. All they have to do is start to move the position of their feet, and they get unstuck again. They can walk while staying stuck on a wall or ceiling. But human beings are way heavier than flies or ants. Too heavy. In order to stick to a wall, you would need some really strong glue to hold your weight. But for the strength of glue you need, that glue would be too strong to be able to lift your feet again. Okay, so sticking to walls like flies might not work. But are there any other wall-crawling animals we can get ideas from? And are there slightly heavier animals that we could learn something from? There are. See this gecko? Geckos are the heaviest animals on Earth that are able to walk on walls. And they're really good at it.
has one.
So good that they can even hang upside down from the ceiling using only one of their toes. But here's what's most surprising. If you touch a gecko's toes, you'll soon discover that they aren't wet or sticky at all. Geckos somehow stick to walls differently than flies do. So how do they do it? Scientists have discovered, once again, the sticking power comes from hair. Take a look up close. See all those hairs? Just like flies, gecko toe pads are covered with hundreds of tiny hairs, called setae, and each of those hairs has even tinier hairs sprouting from their tips. Now, these hairs don't have any liquid on them to help them stick, like flies do, but they do have a sticking power. In fact, even more than flies. Scientists have discovered that the hairs on a gecko's toes can create an invisible pulling force called the van der Waals force. That might sound really strange, but there are other invisible forces you've probably noticed yourself. Like if you've ever rubbed your head on a balloon. Have you ever noticed when you do that your hair gets pulled invisibly toward it? Almost like a magnet. The van der Waals force is kind of like that. You'll get to study more about this in high school science class. But each of the hairs on a gecko's toes has this invisible pulling force that pulls a gecko's toe pad towards the wall. Not hugely different from how your hair gets pulled toward a balloon, or how a magnet gets pulled towards another magnet. So it's almost as if a gecko has little magnets on its feet. Notice that's a lot different than the sticky liquid that a lot of bugs use. Other creatures, like spiders, have this invisible sticking power on the hairs of their feet too. So, could human beings copy geckos and spiders and use this invisible sticking force to stick to walls? Well, maybe. Amazingly, students from Stanford University are trying to invent something that could work. They carefully studied the way geckos climb walls and developed something called gecko gloves.
Oh, cool.
Just like spiders and geckos' feet, it doesn't use magnets or electricity. And when you touch it, it doesn't feel sticky at all. But on each pad, there are lots and lots of tiny bendy spikes, kind of like hairs. When you press down and flatten them out, the gloves stick. But when you lift them up, the stickiness stops, a lot like a gecko's toes. The only problem is, so far they've only been able to make this work on glass. But as long as it's a glass surface, like a window, it is now possible for human beings to climb up walls. In addition to being amazing to see and fun to do, there might even be some useful things these gloves can do, like helping astronauts grab onto things when they're in space without floating away. That's all for this week's question. Thanks, Sophie, for asking it. Before you vote on next week's question, we put together some amazing visuals that we'd love to show you. Take a look inside, or if you don't have time, you can skip straight to voting.
Alright, so I'm going to have you guys do the bonus box on your own. I'll pause it, maybe. I'll be doing the bonus box on your own. So go ahead and make sure you guys answer these questions and respond to maybe one of your classmates' question or of your comments. I really enjoy being a part of these discussions with you. Excuse me. All right, so now we do want to go into the ecosystem science. Let's open up science. And we get it opened up. Open up science. Virtual science, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like I just like ramble on and I'm talking. All right, we're gonna go to the assignment that's due on the 26th. And it's ecosystems in tropical rainforests. All right, so, whoops, too far. Earth's largest rainforest. The Amazon rainforest is the world's largest rainforest. The Amazon River, which is the world's second longest river, runs through the heart of this area. The Amazon River carries about 1/5 of the world's water, total river water. Use this information about your tropical rainforest in this lesson. So, Amazon rainforest surrounds the Amazon River and all of its tributaries, like the small parts that come off of it, like creeks. The rainforest itself is immense. It covers half of Brazil and includes parts of 7 other countries. This forest biome covers more than 2.1 million square miles. The biodiversity of this rainforest matches its huge size. Scientists have identified more than 40,000 different plants and about 4,800 different animals and more than 100,000 invertebrates as native to the rainforest. This is a giant leaf frog produces a waxy coating that keeps the skin from drying out. I could use that on my lips sometimes. I get chapped lips. Did you know? The giant leaf frog resides in the Amazon rainforest. Like most amphibians, it is sensitive to changes in its environment. Scientists are interested in this species of frog because of the waxy substance it produces. The substance may have valuable medicinal uses. I think of it right now. My chapped lips. I could put that on my lips and make me be very helpful there. Humans consume a wide variety of rainforest products every day. Some of these products include oranges, yum, pineapple, yum, bananas, yum, cocoa, yum, sugarcane, cashews, teak, mahogany, and rubber trees. Many more useful products will likely be discovered in the future, such as ones used for medicinal purposes. Medicine means medicinal purposes. While harvesting these items from the rainforest is useful to humans, it is often destructive to the rainforest themselves. Humans have destroyed millions of rainforest acres by cutting down trees and lumber, building highways where there was a forest, building villages for people who once lived in the forest, and clearing land for farming and ranching. We'll watch these videos and learn more about how damaging rainforests can have a global negative global impact. You'll also learn about different ways to protect tropical rainforests.
Tropical rainforests may seem far removed from our own lives, but in many ways, we reap the benefits of the abundance and diversity of rainforest life. Many of the foods we eat were originally discovered in rainforests, particularly fruits like oranges, grapefruit, bananas, and pineapple. And fruits are only part of the story.
Chocolate.
Chocolate comes from the cocoa plant, and sugar from sugar cane.
Love those
Vanilla,
two
coffee beans, ginger,
things.
and cashews are
Yes.
all from rainforest plants.
Rubber comes from a whitish sap called latex that comes from rubber trees. In the Amazon, rubber tappers still collect this sap by cutting the bark and letting the sap run into cups. Native people in the Amazon have discovered other uses for rainforest plants. They tip their arrows and spears with curare, a poisonous chemical which comes from a vine and causes paralysis. Scientists have found that this same chemical can be used for medical purposes to relax muscles during surgery. Medical researchers have obtained useful drugs from hundreds of different rainforest plants. Among other things, some of these drugs have been used to treat different kinds of cancer. Researchers are also studying substances produced by animals. In Central and South America, colorful poison dart frogs secrete extremely powerful toxins that affect nerves and muscles. Another resource from the rainforest is timber. Tropical woods, such as teak and mahogany, are used for products from furniture to chopsticks.
Very expensive.
But logging this timber poses a serious threat. Rainforests throughout the world are being cut at an alarming rate, not only for timber, but to clear land for farming and ranching. In Brazil, for example, a highway has been built through the Amazon, opening up previously inaccessible areas to thousands of farmers. The effects have been devastating. From 1979 to 1990, over 5 million acres of forest in the Amazon were cleared each year. Among other consequences of this destruction, tribes of native people that have lived in harmony with the rainforest for centuries are being displaced. They may soon have nowhere to go. In Central America, much of the rainforest has been cut to create pasture for cattle. The soil is so thin, however, that it may be able to support grazing or farming for only a few years. Erosion also has become a problem. Without trees to protect the soil from torrential rains, the exposed soil washes away.
The effects of destruction of rainforests can be far-reaching. Life in the rainforest is diverse, but it is also fragile. In a given section of forest, there may be many species of animals and plants, but very few individuals of any one species. Destroying even a small part of a rainforest may mean that all the individuals of a species are lost.
And that's where I'll pause. I've got about 4 minutes into it. It's got another about 5 or 6 more minutes. And you guys can finish watching that on your own when we go asynchronous. And that takes us to your quiz here. It is a longer quiz because it includes multiple questions from different tropical rainforests. So it's called the Ecosystem Tropical Exam. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and open up our reading, which is our next thing on our assignment list here. And we'll go into our reading. There's a virtual reading. You see that little kid there trying to read furiously and quickly. We're not sure if he's comprehending anything, but he's certainly given his best shot there to read. Where are we at? The 25th. There it is. Homophones. All right. So, too many ways to say two, right? T-O-O-T-W-O-T-O. What happens when there's different words that sound exactly the same? How do you keep these tricky words all sorted out? This video clip here provides some clues. Hint, what do the characters need to understand to solve their riddle?
How can this be? They're gaining on us. Hurry up, Erasinator.
You've rejected the tiger story, the turtle story, the one about the woodcutter, and the magic pitcher. And it's done.
I will not have my celebrated name associated with any of those lame little fables.
Wait, I didn't read the sneaky, stinky, pitiful pen section yet.
No! I need something heroic, epic, bigger than life, like me!
Ah, you're talking pure fiction.
Gross! Just keep looking while I make those infernal pens spin.
Dark Marker must have been here, I know it.
We're getting nowhere, and we're not even getting there fast.
I do believe we need to calm down, like my yogi taught me.
You learn things from your yogurt? Okay.
Not yogurt, yogi, my meditation teacher. He taught me that you can focus your mind's eye.
We can't meditate. We can barely blink. Ugh, I think Darth Marker just hit me in my mind's eye. Oh, fine. I'm not fighting it anymore. Just get it over with. You can't rush these things. Ahem. Gone to visit gods in red and blue, on towers higher than you ever knew. Which end will the tale get? One that will fill you with regret.
This sounds different than it looks, or rather looks different than it sounds, I think. I'm
confused.
I know what's going on here.
You mind cluing us in?
Homonyms, words that sound the same but are spelled differently.
I know where this is going. Set change.
Watch out for the tourists.
You know we really should be dressed in the proper Indian attire.
What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
A sari.
You're forgiven.
No, sorry.
Really, it's no big deal.
Oh, no, a sari.
Stop apologizing.
I'm not. I'm talking about a sari. S-A-R-I, the traditional dress of women in India. Sorry.
Sorry. I thought you meant sorry. Like, sorry, Buzz made a mistake.
Excellent example of a homonym, you guys.
Oh, I see.
Way to go, Arturo. Fantastic.
He does one thing right, and you treat him like a Raja.
Good one, Buzz. Each of these pairs sound alike, but have completely different meanings.
So a word can have two meanings and two spellings?
Well, two has three, actually, but you got the idea.
8 minutes, however you spell it. So let's get moving.
Right.
Okay, but what should I write?
No, right. R-I-G-H-T, as in correct. So Dark Marker used the wrong homonyms in the message. Buzz, do you think you can...
Are you kidding? My spell was 8.0 was made for this.
Oh dear. I do hope it's not an ending like Ganesh's.
Ganesh, that's Sanskrit for let's go, right now, right?
Lord Ganesh. It's a famous tale among Hindus.
Okay, that's Sanskrit for let's go right now.
Hinduism is the religion most people in India practice. It has many gods, each with its own story. My favorite, of course, is that of Ganesh.
My favorite is the short story. 6 minutes and counting!
The story goes that as a boy, Ganesh's head was cut off by his father, the god Shiva.
This is your favorite story? You scare me sometimes.
As I was saying, Shiva saw how sad Ganesh's mother was, so he brought him back to life by giving him an elephant's head.
We should all have elephant's heads, then we wouldn't forget what time it is.
Ganesh is worshipped in temples across the land. You should see some of them. They have the most dazzling, colorful towers.
Wait a minute. Colorful, red, blue.
Especially the Meenakshi temple. Such tall, elegant towers. Just spectacular.
Tall towers? Brilliant colors? That's it. That's where we're headed.
Beheaded? Please, no, don't. I'll be good. Just take us to the temple already.
That's cool.
It really is dazzling.
Thanks. I almost ran out of ink doing this. Okay, Dark Marker, we're only steps behind you. Meenakshi. Now, where is that boy with the elephant head? Hello? 4 minutes. No time for sightseeing.
But we do have time for a quick review.
Good point, Penny.
Thanks, Buzz. Ooh.
Cue the film!
Let's start with the commonly used words.
There.
Where?
Do.
That's a lot.
Excellent. Now, no excuse words.
We have no excuse to misspell them.
The, at, if, done. Done is not a no excuse word. No, done as in let's get a move on.
Good, you guys. And lastly, homonyms are...
Words that sound alike but are spelled differently and mean different things.
Sorry and sorry.
C and C. One and one.
Pentabulous. We're ready. There he is! We've got you cornered, Dark Marker. Your story is over.
Yeah, and hand over those correct spellings. Ah, you can't stop me now. I'm almost a living legend. Racinator, prepare the Shapoons for battle.
Here's a story for you. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful queen named Dottie.
You are no queen. You're barely even a sidekick.
It's called poetic license.
Ugh, enough of this nonsense. Shapoons, release. Incoming! I don't recognize these words at all.
That's because they're misspelled.
You and I, those are wrong.
So is said.
We got it. Buzz, zap 'em.
Stand by for triple zapping. Hey, cats! They think they're so smart, do they? Racinator, fire now!
Oh, I'm afraid of Racinator and an unhappy ending. But Dottie's still here.
You are frustrating me.
I try.
Shapoons, release! Incoming! What is that? Sanskrit?
There's no excuse for this kind of spelling.
Exactly. The no excuse words.
My spell was 8.0 is on the case. It, all, for, and you are misspelled.
It's all you, Buzz.
Another round of multiple zapping now.
Watch out! Watch out! Got him!
No! This can't be happening. Racinator, we're losing!
We? There's no we in a Racinator.
Are you going to
I
help
like
me
that
out or
person.
not?
Fine, but only because I can't stand your whining anymore. Shapoons, release.
Incoming! The two of us will beat the four of you.
It sounds correct, but
Beats? Now that's just wrong.
Right.
Wait, my right or your right? Which is my left?
No, right. Like, great job. They're all homonyms. Buzz.
I'm on it. Zapping.
Watch out! Got him!
Ah, I hate losing.
Game over, Dark Marker.
And stay away from folk tales. You think this is the last of me? Ha! I'll be back!
That was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. All right, so what are homonyms? And write your definition in kind of your own word. So think about this, pause the video, and write down what you think homonym is. I'll give you a second to pause the video, and I'm going to restart the video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Homonyms. Homonyms are words that sound or look the same but have different meanings, like two and one and beat. These are all homonyms. What's it matter? Why can't you just use a spelling that you remember? Homophones are kind of like a homonym. They are words that sound alike but spelled differently and have different meanings, like doe, D-O-E, and dough, D-O-U-G-H. Like dough, a deer, and D-O-U-H, like dough, pizza dough. I would like to have pizza dough, not a little deer. The most important thing to know about homophones is when they're used incorrectly. If you choose the wrong homophone for your message, your reader will generally get confused. Let's read this note and find out where some long-lost pirate treasure is. Can you figure out where the treasure is buried? Hint. Start by finding the incorrect words used as homophones. First, go to the house where my aunts live, the one with the holy roof. Be sure to wait down the hill until the sun sinks low because you're not allowed to dig down there. Look for a bare spot on the ground next to the patch of leeks. There is also a tree with bough that makes an arc over the site. We dug a cellar-sized hole at the base of that tree. bats of that tree. Even though the hole is big, our dough in the small mail box that has been wrapped up. That was actually kind of fun to read because I kept wanting to correct the words in my head. It was hard to read. So, see if you can find all the homophones in here. Go ahead and write them down in your notebook that we have, the new notebook. You can just find a random page and just put them off on the side. All right, I'm going to give you a second to pause. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and restart the words. Like ants is aunt, there, cellar size, there's a cellar size, holy, there's the holy, bear, there's a correct bear, weights, leak, bass, bass. Sorry, that's the one I kept getting mixed up because that's bass guitar and also bass fish, and then it's the bass here. So that one's really hard. Sun, bow, do, sinks, allowed, arc, mail, and wrapped. Did you get all of them? Did you get them? Did you get them all? Mm-hmm. Which word has at least one homophone? Is it there or whistled? There or whistled? It is. Next. How about which one has at least one homophone? Help or hair? Help or hair? Help or hair? Try hair. Noise. Which one here? Sell or send? Sell or send? Sell or send? Yes. Add or bake? Add or bake? Add or bake? Oop. Got him. Egg or doe? Egg or doe? Doe, a deer. Oh, a doe. A doe, a female deer. Dart or tail? Dart or tail? Dart or tail? Dart or tail? It is tail, because T-A-I-L would be another version of tail. And that takes you guys to your quiz. This is a homophone quiz. There's 2 questions to the homophone quiz. I know you guys would knock it out of the park. Alrighty, so let's go back and consult our agenda here. We did Lexia. I gave you guys should be working 20 minutes on your own today, this morning, on your Lexia. 50 points of scoop pad, so you need 10 more points today. You should have 50 points of scoop pad ELA, and if you get total 50 points this week, you don't have to do it next week. We did our AL Tropical Rainforest lesson, and you have the quiz to do. We did our homophones lesson, and the quiz you need to do. We did most of the Mystery Science 21. You need to do the discussion board post of it, and if you want to see the what's in the Doug's mystery box, you have to finish that one up on your own. Let's go to our afternoon. An afternoon looks a lot like our morning, but we're going to start off with a brain pop. This brain pop is called Global Positioning System. Some of you guys know this as GPS. And there it is, Global Positioning System, also known as GPS.
Man, are we ever lost? Okay, are we on this mountain or that one? Dear Tim and Moby, how can a GPS tell you where you are? From Simon. That's a really good, strangely appropriate question. GPS stands for Global Positioning System. With a GPS receiver, you can pinpoint your location on Earth at any time, in any place. Around 30 GPS satellites orbit 20,200 kilometers above the Earth. Each sends out a signal that someone with a GPS receiver can use to determine their latitude, longitude, and altitude at any time. Oh, latitude and longitude are coordinates on a map. Altitude is how high up you are, like if you're in an airplane or on a mountain. At any given time and place, at least 4 satellites are always above the horizon. Each GPS satellite transmits a special code via radio waves. The GPS receiver knows what the code should look like at any given time, so it can use this code to figure out how far away the satellite is. Well, remember that radio waves travel at the speed of light. The speed of light is really fast, about 300,000 kilometers per second, but it's not instant. The signal from the satellite will lag behind the matching code in the receiver by just a little bit. The receiver automatically measures this lag and uses it to calculate the distance from the satellite. But remember, we're measuring the distance from 4 satellites. The first satellite tells you you're somewhere on the edge of this sphere. The The sphere intersects the Earth at this circle, so if you're on the ground, you know you're somewhere on that circle. The second satellite narrows down your location to 2 points on the ground, where the circles intersect. The third satellite pinpoints one location on the ground. The fourth satellite helps correct for differences in the clock on board the satellites and in your receiver, and nails down your position pretty much exactly. Many receivers combine this information with built-in maps to help people figure out where they are in the world. I just wish we had one. I don't know how we're going to find our way back to the road. How do you know we're supposed to go that way? I don't know. It seems like every time I trust you, we end up in more trouble than when we started. But I guess that way's as good as any.
He has one.
Hey, you coming?
Always there with the shenanigans. Always with the shenanigans, isn't he? Alrighty. So that takes us to our math lesson for today. Let's go ahead and open up our math. And it's the one that says, was it 3 plus 2, I think is what's in there? Yeah, 3 plus 2. And this somebody with like a furry paw hand is slowly doing that question. Excuse me. Let's go to our quadrilaterals lesson quiz. So just to kind of give you guys a preview of what this is. Which of these is not a property of a rectangle? Remember, for a rectangle, let me get my camera out, my math camera. For a rectangle, come on. There we go. Turn the light on. Did it flip over? And I still see my face. Maybe I need to try that again. Let's see if it flips over to my camera. Maybe not. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, that didn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start a fake meeting here. And that way I know that camera will allow me to draw. Sorry about that. I wish there was a way that I could do that without doing this, but it's okay. Let's see here. And come on. Start video. I'm all plugged in, ready to go. Oh, now I'm frozen. Let's see here. Aha! We got it. Okay. Alrighty. So the first question is, which of the following is not a property of a rectangle? So I pull this back up and I zoom in a little bit, turn a light on there. Perfect. Here is a rectangle. So we can do it in multiple ways. A rectangle, remember, this side matches this side matches this side, and we need to have a right angle squares here and here and here. That should help you answer that first question on there. Pretty big hints there. A square has 4 equal sides. So let's draw a square. Here's a square. So that's the same, that's the same, that's the same, that's the same. Right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle. That should really help you out with question number 3. And which is following is not a parallelogram. A parallelogram, you have to have all 4 sides, they have to be parallel. So this side is parallel to this side. See, they never touch. And then this side is parallel to this side. They will never touch. So that would be an example of a parallelogram. A rhombus is the same properties as a square. I can't. Oh, you know what? You guys didn't see that. There we go. You guys didn't see what I drew there. That's what I drew there. Sorry about that. I can't draw your rhombus without giving away that question for number 4. A kite has no pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. Well, let's draw a kite. We draw a kite. We go toot, 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 toot. So we know same, and we'll call this A, and we'll call this A because that matches. And we'll call this angle B, and we'll call that angle B. and it's talking about intersecting lines. Well, that never intersects with these. So, and I'm not going to give it away, but if you go like that, it should give you a pretty good idea of what to be looking for. I think I'm giving you guys some pretty good answers here. Guys know lines of symmetry, a square has 4 lines of symmetry. Every quadrilateral has a line of symmetry. So I don't want to give you away too much more without just totally giving you all the answers there. So I'm going to flip off that camera, and I'm going to shut down this. Let's see, you're in that. And hopefully my video of myself reappears. Let's see, can I restart it? Let me try that again. Looks like I'm frozen. Okay, you'll just have to hear my voice and see my cursor move rather than seeing my face there. I'm stuck and frozen. So sorry about that, ladies and gents. That does take us to our next assignment, which is the social studies. I believe it's the Hawaii and Alaska assignments. I thought you guys might like this. Thought you all would like the Hawaii and Alaska. Has anybody ever been to Hawaii or Alaska? I was a young puppy when I went to those states, so I don't remember much. I do remember one being cold. I do remember one being warm. I do remember one not being having actually a lot of sunlight because we went in the summer. It was sunny like all night long in Alaska, and if I went there in the winter, it would have been dark all night long in Alaska. So I remember that as a kid. I didn't go there in the winter. I went in the summer. In Hawaii, I remember it being very warm, and that was about it. I was such a young kid that I really didn't get to remember the experience. So that'll be something I have to put on my bucket list to try again now that I'm an adult and I have a little better memory. All right, so let's try Hawaii and Alaska. Sorry about my frozen screen there. It's a real bummer. So, this should give you guys kind of an idea, if you guys watch this, what it's like in the Pacific Ocean, okay? I'm not going to have you guys sit here and watch all 15 minutes of it together because it's not really helpful. You guys have the ability to do that kind of on your own, but I would definitely do that. You see some really, really cool images. On tour, which state borders the Pacific Ocean? In this lesson, we're tour around the Pacific. We will guide you around as sort of like riding on a tour bus, and then you will have the opportunity to plan your own trip. Yeah! Be sure to take notes of the places you want to pass along the way, and you'd like to include a trip of your own. We will start in the West by including the Pacific Ocean. This includes the states like Hawaii, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, California. As you travel from one end of the Pacific region to the other, you will encounter very different climates and landscapes. There's probably more variety in this region than any other region in the United States. And then we will write a postcard to each friend on at the stop of our tour. You tell them about what you learned, what you've learned there. So Hawaii. Hawaii is the westernmost state in the United States. Is Hawaii. You probably have heard all about Hawaii. It's known for beautiful beaches, great surfing, and warm weather. See, that's what I remember is the warm weather. It is a tropical climate which accounts for the warmth and lushness of vegetation. It's a lot of plants there that grow very well. You can see many plants in Hawaii that you won't find growing naturally anywhere else in the country. Alaska. Alaska is the northernmost state, moving toward the far north and back across the Pacific Ocean. The North American continent we arrive at is Alaska. Alaska's climate is very different than that of Hawaii. The Arctic tundra is one of Alaska's major biomes. No tropical plants and animals can live here, but you're likely to see bears, eagles. I do remember seeing a ton of bald eagles. They were like crows there. I swear, there were so many bald eagles there, you can see them all the time. Orcas, aka killer whales, Free Willy, glaciers, and for a good part of the year, lots of snow. One of the most interesting things about Alaska is that because of its northern latitude, there's a time in winter when the sun never comes up and a time in the summer when the sun never goes down. That is one big thing I remember was it was just sunny all day and all night long. It was just like, wow, imagine as a kid trying to wrap your head around that and understanding. That's one of those things you really just like, I can tell you about it, I can show you videos about it, but you really need to experience that where it's just sunny all day long. And I'm talking like 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, sunny. It's like daytime. You never needed a flashlight because it was just sunny all the time. So it made it really awkward and hard to sleep as a kid. Eventually, I did fall asleep. My parents are very thankful of that because I would get cranky if I didn't get enough sleep. So here's your Hawaii and Alaska quiz. It's a quick 2-question quiz. And that takes us to our scoop pad. I know that we had Kisa, Emma, Aiden, Danny, Carrie, and Kyle all scored over 50 points last week. And so that means this week they didn't have to do it. However, the rest of you folks do need to get those 50 points. If you get those 50 points like those individuals I just mentioned, then you don't have to do Scoop Pad for the following week. Well, this kind of brings to conclusion our class. Thank you for watching our video here. I do want to say have a wonderful spring break. Have a safe spring break. Have a lot of fun. Take time, relax, get recharged, and just, have a lot of fun. And I will get to see all of you in person on Monday, April 5th at Willis. I'm very excited to see you guys all there. Get to see you in person for the very first time. I know it's under weird circumstances where I'm going to have you guys sit very quietly, not talk to anybody, and do your test. But at least we get to see each other. There will be some time where we do get to talk to each other. I think we have some plans and maybe going to the playground a little bit and plans on going to the gym between the tests that we're taking. But for the bulk of it, we will be testing, which is, those things are just out of our control and something that the state wants us to do. And so we're going to go ahead and do it together. And I will be with you every step of the way. But I am excited to see everybody on Monday, April 5th. So you guys have a wonderful spring break, and I'm looking forward to seeing your comments in the discussion board posts. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys finish up your work that's I've assigned for you guys today. That includes the Mini Mystery Science number 23. That includes the Ecosystems Tropical Exam. That includes the homophones quiz. That includes the quadrilaterals lesson quiz, which I feel like I gave away a lot of information there, so use what I gave you. Rewind, pause, and go back. And last but not least is the Hawaii and Alaska quiz. All right, I will see you guys on Monday, April 5th, and I actually mean that. I will see you in person. Have a great spring break.